Good evening. We are coming live from the Legal Research Den this evening. My name is Robert O'Lynn, and I will be reviewing a particularly fascinating webpage tonight. It's called law.cornell.edu. It is a very interesting source for legal information, including the text of legal um, many primary legal resources, and it does have links to some state resources as well. The website is www.law.cornell.edu, and when you get to the web page, you'll get to what's called the Legal Information Institute. And there's a couple of interesting options on the bar at the top. The first thing that sticks out in my mind after going through this course for some time is the Legal Encyclopedia. So let's take a look at that. The Legal Encyclopedia is called WEX, and it's also got a legal dictionary. You can browse WEX, you can search WEX, etc., but browsing it is the same type of index type search that we would do, with a West Digest, or with Flodger or American Jurisprudence, or one of those sources. We get to the WEX sort of index here on the browse, and it's got a listing of how many different different terms are listed under each letter at the top, and you can search through by letter. So just looking at it right now, when I opened it up, we're on A, and there's 424 terms or concepts listed under A. We're just going to go ahead and click on one. We'll go with absentee ballot, since we have an election coming up. So I've clicked on absentee ballot, and it gives me a definition for absentee ballot. It says a paper ballot is submitted before an election day, and often by mail, by a voter who's unable to attend the official polling station on the election day. Okay, so that's cool. That's the overview definition of what it is. Let's say I want to get into it and find something more useful for interpreting the rules about absentee ballots. If I click on the resources tab, well, for absentee ballots, I'm coming up with nothing on the resources tab. Mind you that WEX and a lot of the things on this Cornell site are a work in progress. They're being updated and maintained by legal professionals and volunteers as well. So some of these things are incomplete, but can be completed by the appropriate volunteers and legal professionals, and even the website has a link for people to get involved and help out. So under the absentee ballot, listing, they also have a case law tab. So when you're using WEX, you're going to have 4 tabs once you've clicked on a term or concept. And those 4 tabs are the overview, resources, for example, and in case law. So there's case law for this absentee ballot provision from O'Brien v. Skinner from 1974. The court and O'Brien v. Skinner is a Supreme Court case, and may be a good, starting place to look. This, at least under this example, this source, WEX, on the Cornell.edu website, is not as good, in my opinion, as using, a legal encyclopedia like Flodger or American Jurisprudence. However, it's 100% free and may be a very good jumping off point. Now, there's a tab that you're going to probably spend most of your time on this website using, and that is the Get the Law tab, and that's up on the top bar of the screen. Under the Get the Law tab, you have a couple of options. There's Explore Our Legal Collections, and they list the legal collections that they have: federal law, the Constitution, the United States Code, the Code of Federal Regulations, the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court rulings, federal rules, state law resources, Uniform Commercial Code, etc. They also have a way to stay updated um, through Cornell's legal bulletins that they put out, and of course social media as well. I took a chance a little earlier to explore some of the federal law resources, and they seem pretty good. I know I've heard that sometimes the information on this website is not always up to date, and that's why you should always, of course, check back to the primary source of the law, preferably, the document that the government has printed if you can access it. But if you can't access it, obviously, you're going to want to use something that's, you know, that is acceptable to the court in your jurisdiction. Um, Anyways, the under the federal law, you can access the Code of Federal Regulations, the Federal Register. There's also searchable court decisions. It is a good jumping off point to do your research if you've got, especially a statute that you're dealing with. Those are a good way to get um, an idea of where you're looking without paying to open the documents. That way you can save some money by, maybe browsing an index somewhere and then using this. Right now we're going to open up um, the United States Code here under the Legislative Branch tab. Under what you'll do is you'll click on Federal and then go to Legislative Branch United States Code. And we're just going to take a look at it real quick here and see what it's showing. And as it loads here, we've got the United States Code in its entirety printed here. It seems like this is not a bad place to start when you've got a citation and you don't want to be spending money, obviously, to look it up. This is a free, a free source and could be very useful indeed. They also have notes on these, so I've just opened Title 1, the general provisions. You've got the um, the you've got the text of the code. Um, you'll have information about notes, decisions, and there are updates as to when um, the the code itself was updated on the website. So all in all, this is a good source to use to avoid obviously racking up the expense of doing legal research on other sources like Westlaw and LexisNexis. And I think that it's definitely an interesting thing to watch as it is being grown and maintained by a small core of professionals as well as through people and academics who are volunteering their time and resources to work on it. Anyways, that is my review of the law.cornell.edu resource.